Hey, welcome to September. So I have a funny story from my personal life that I thought you might enjoy. And also it's in keeping with the moral of the month, which is about this being Mara's month and to guard our behavior. So I was the former owner of a smart car. Yep, I had one of those little beep beep cars. And as these things go, Smart Car has discontinued making them. Now, it is only by the good grace and fortune that I accidentally found an article that talked about that online last year. So I was a little prepared for this. But had I not literally stumbled across this article on the internet, I would have been taken completely off guard. And this would have been a much, much more devastating story. So, in short, I was home. It was my day off. It was beautiful weather outside. You couldn't ask for better weather. And I was just happened to pop down to the sandwich shop to get something for lunch. Went in, made my order, got back into my car, went to turn the ignition key, and it wouldn't turn. Literally wouldn't turn. So, because, just so you know, the fine German engineering that is Smart Car, when the cylinder barrel that holds the ignition key breaks, apparently the wheels won't move. The steering wheel will turn in all kinds of directions, but the wheels won't move. Which means that when the tow truck driver came to get my car, it took him the better part of half an hour to 45 minutes to get it on the tow bed because he couldn't get the wheels to move, which made it difficult because it's almost impossible to slide a car left and right? Yeah, so got it down to my mechanics, and my mechanic later informed me that day, by the way, we're not going to be able to fix your car because what's wrong with it needs a special diagnostic tool to fix. So you're going to have to go back to the Smart Car repair people or a dealership, and they're going to have to do it. Well, this does not make me happy because one of the things that people didn't know, or well, I certainly did not know until I went to go get it repaired, is that Smart Car, the parent company for Smart Car is BMW. Or no, I'm sorry, Mercedes-Benz. Now, the Mercedes-Benz dealership, which is where the authorized Smart Car repair persons are, for an oil change, a simple oil change, they charge $120. I'm not kidding you, right? So you can imagine what repair is going to cost there. So I'm hearing this and I'm beside myself. But on the other hand, I got to have a car. I can't operate without a vehicle. So it's like, okay, I'll take it down there. So now there are only 2 authorized smart repair dealerships within 40 miles of me in either direction. Literally, I have to drive 40 miles in one direction or the other to go to the nearest smart car repair shop, authorized repair shop. And I called them both. And the answer that I got was, oh, yeah, sorry. No, we can't help you. We can't fix any smart cars now because Smart Car ended the contract last week and we had to send all our tools back. Are you fucking kidding me? Right. So I essentially was stuck with a car that no one in the entire country can fix now. And basically had to donate it to a junkyard because they can't even really use it for much parts out of that car because nobody's driving smart cars now or will be. Even if they needed parts, nobody can repair it. So there's that. The saving grace here, the saving grace right now up to this point is that one, I had a couple of much more expensive repairs on the books that I was getting ready to do, and luckily the car did this before I invested the money into that. The second is if I had to break down and get stranded somewhere in this damn car, it was a nice day. It was down the road from my mechanic and my house, and I was in a parking lot that was not heavily populated, so it wasn't a really busy parking lot, and it was my day off. I was close to home, so this could have been much worse, and it wasn't. So I'm very grateful for that. So, my car is now sitting in a junkyard somewhere, and I'm on the internet doing a mad scramble looking for a vehicle because where I live, I don't know about you, but where I live, we don't have really great public transportation. So the bus service is not useful unless you're going downtown to the local mall, and I think like a couple of other places, but even then, like that's it. So basically for all of your employment needs and things like shopping, like grocery shopping, it's useless, literally useless. It's a horrible place for public transportation. And we don't have trolleys, we don't have subways. I mean, literally all we have is a public bus, and sometimes those buses don't even stop at the stops they're supposed to. Like I've literally watched the bus, the few times I've used it, like literally roll past me in the rain, right? Like I wasn't standing at the bus stop in front of them. Nobody's a fan of the bus service around here. So there's also no bike paths. Now I know in some places like Philadelphia and a couple of other cities, they're very bike friendly. So if you have a bicycle, you can get around. That is not the case here. You will get run over. They run over people with motorcycles. They're definitely going to plow over you on a bicycle. These are sometimes we don't get a choice about where we have to live. Okay, so you got to have a car. You've got to, if you're going to do anything that involves leaving your house and going someplace, you've got to have a car around here. So I'm scrambling on the internet looking for a car. So, I've got choices, not many, because I've got a budget issue, because this was an unexpected, huge expenditure. I knew I was going to have to replace the car. I just didn't expect to have to replace it right now. And all of a sudden, I thought I'd have some time, maybe even trade the car in. No. So I can buy an old clunker that's in my budget range, which is probably going to need a lot more repairs and maybe only last a couple of years, right? After I spent a fortune trying to keep it running as these things go. Or I just happen to have an electric charger in my house because by grace, good fortune, and luck, was involved in a research project for electric vehicles. So we had an electric charger installed as part of the research project. So it is still here. Which is a great asset if you have an electric car, but I haven't had an electric car since the research project ended, right? So now I'm looking for a car. I'm like, you know what, while I have it, let me make use of this. And at least with an electric charger, an electric car, right? The money that I'm saving in terms of fuel and maintenance and repairs, I can save up and make back, and hopefully be able to buy a new battery if I need it in a couple of years. Or replenish the savings that I pretty much just emptied out now, because instead of applying this to a mortgage or any other major thing, God forbid I get sick, I have to buy a car with it. So my savings is depleted at this point. But again, on the upside, at least I had savings, right? Because I knew Smart Car was discontinuing the line because I found it by accident online. So I was squirreling away money a lot as best I could for the last year and a half. So I finally find a car that's within my budget, right? And it's a couple states away, right? Because there's nothing nearby, because people around here I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so I call them, I make the arrangements. I managed to get a loan for part of the amount to just kind of stretch out how long I have to work with and not completely deplete my savings from my bank. And I'm got paperwork filled out. I literally have a bank check to give to them. All I need to do is go up and make a physical inspection of the car and then have them deliver it to me, because I don't trust it enough because it's not a full battery. Like it's a 9-year-old car, so the battery's pretty depleted. But you got to work with your budget, right? So all I need to do is make final inspection, and they're going to have it transported down to me. Okay, but I'll have a car. So I make my train tickets, right? I make my way up. They know what time I'm arriving, because we talked about this before I got there. I get up there, get off the train, nobody's there. I get a phone call from the girl. She's like, "Oh, our driver's running a little bit late. Can you just be patient?" Okay. Now, because of where they're at, there's only the biggest gap in time between my arrival and my departure is 3 hours. I've literally got a 3-hour window to show up at the train station and get back to the train station and go home, because otherwise I'm spending the night in the middle of nowhere. And they knew what time I was arriving. And of course they weren't there. So I arrived at 20:02. By 2:00, still nobody there, right? And by 2:15, I'm calling her. I'm like, "What's going on? Like, my train leaves. I have to be here at the train station at 3:00 because my train leaves, or I'm spending the night here." And that's not happening, right? Like, where is this guy? And she's like, "Oh, he's stuck in traffic, la la." And I'm like, "Where exactly are you?" So apparently where they're at, it's not even close to the train station like I thought it was. The lot where the car is located is part of a dealership that has multiple locations, and the location for the car is actually an hour from the train station. So the driver being halfway there means he's literally half an hour out. It's already 2:15, and I've got to be back on the train at 3:00. This isn't looking good. So I'm like, listen, can you just drive the car out? Like, get in the car and bring the paperwork and bring it to the train station. I'll look at the car here and I'll sign the paper and give a check. She's like, it won't help, because even if I drive out, I'm going to get stuck in the same traffic. There's a problem with the bridge being out and everybody's backed up right now. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. This isn't going to work. So I can't spend the night, and I'm not spending, muggly wump dollars on a train ride back up here again. And you guys knew what time I was coming. So I'm like, well, I don't know what to say. I'm going home because I don't have a choice. So train came, got on a train, headed back home. I'm really upset. Now remember, this month is about Mara. This month is about Mara trying to encourage you, entice you, drive you to your lowest behaviors, right? Mara is trying to make you succumb to the lowest parts of your nature, which include losing your temper, right? So, and panicking, right? Losing your temper and panicking, anger and panic. So luckily I'm on a train and they have internet and they have power. So I plug my laptop in, plug my phone in, and I am searching again for a vehicle. So as I'm searching, I'm like, I think I hit the mother lode. So I find a car. It's like out in Colorado somewhere. And remember, wherever it is, it's not near me. So it's going to have to be shipped no matter what. But this car is a year younger. It's fully loaded. It's got premium package, like Bose stereo system, like it's completely tricked out. I'm pretty sure it was a dealership car that was on display all the time. And it has almost a completely full battery. Oh my God. Like I'm like, my heart is palpitating, right? So I'm sending them a message online. And when I surf back to the page, because I forgot to take a screenshot of the picture, the ad again, it's gone. It's gone. In 10 seconds, this thing disappeared. Well, come to find out that the car had been sold, all right? And whoever was in charge of the web or whatever, like it didn't drop off until just after I just happened to find it. So I'm just beside myself. Right? And so, we don't have a choice in this situation. We just have to soldier on. So I keep looking, right? Well, I find another car and I got lucky, that is also a year younger than the one I was going to buy. Again, loaded. It's got all the premium package stuff or whatever. And it doesn't have a completely full battery, but it's really close. It has more battery bars than the one I was about to buy. And it's only a little bit more expensive than what the original dealership was going to charge me for theirs. So this is like a huge stroke of luck. Oh my God. So I contact them. And, I've got the deposit done on the car, and I had to go back to the bank and return the check and reissue the check with new paperwork for the new dealership, and they're going to ship it out to me. And it's only going to cost me a little bit more than I was originally budgeting out, which is actually literally going to almost completely deplete all of my accounts. But I will have a car. And hopefully over a couple of months, I'll save enough money not buying gas and all that other stuff, because electric batteries, I think it's like $2 for a full charge on that battery for 50 or 60 miles. That's pretty good. $2 compared to 40. We're okay with that. And I should hopefully have a car next week. So this is where this ties into astrology. I know it's like, this is really long walk around. Where's the astrology in this? So here's the thing, right? When I first did the chart for the car that I was first looking at, right? Because you can do these event charts and horary charts. And one of the rules in horary, when you ask the astrology chart a question, right, a yes/no question sort of thing, or use the astrology chart as an oracle, right? The first rule is that if it's less than 4 degrees, less than 3 degrees or less rising, right, 0, 1, 2, or 3 degrees rising, or 27, 28, 29, rising, the very last degrees, it's either too soon to tell, it's a premature question, or it's too late. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to change the outcome. You already know what the answer is, and this is, what you see is what you get. Well, the chart I did for the car that I was first looking at kept coming up with like 0 degrees rising, and I'm like, well, what the hell does that mean? I'm like, well, maybe I don't know how this is premature. Like, I need a car literally as of last week, right? Because I've already been 4 days without a car. And I don't see me winning a lottery anytime soon, or, gifting me a car in an inheritance. So I don't know how this is too soon. Oh my gosh. And I really don't have time to look. And this is the thing with astrology, right? So we can try to game the system all we want, and play with the stars. But at the end of the day, there are some things that are just unavoidable. Like, you're not going to beat the system. So, it was coming up zero rising. Premature. This is premature. I don't understand how this is premature. Like, I need a car right now. This is not even funny, right? Well, you know what? I don't care if it says it's premature. I'm going to go ahead and look at this car anyway. And lo and behold, it was in fact premature. Apparently the universe had other ideas in mind for me, and the car that I did end up with afterward as a result of this giant adventure was even better than the one I was trying to buy. So I thought it was funny because, again, we're so locked into what we're dealing with right in front of us that we don't have time for all of this mystic hoodoo voodoo, like, yeah, okay, whatever, too soon to tell. Listen, I still need a car. But the blueprint, that we're working under is always going to win out. Now, the other thing is that literally a lot of this is good luck and good fortune. And I'm completely convinced that it is because rather than giving into my lower nature and losing my temper and having a hissy fit and going into panic attack and all the stuff that would normally go with, what do you mean? I just drove all the way up here on a train at my expense to purchase this car, and you knew what time was coming, and you couldn't even make it a point to be organized enough to be here on time, right? And now what am I going to do? And now I find a car that's really good, right? And it disappears within 10 seconds of finding it. Like, who's torturing me? So rather than getting crazy like that, I tried my best, just kind of woo-saw my way through the situation and stay calm and just keep plugging through, right? Plugging through. And that's how I ended up finding this car, which hopefully Mara's not still testing me with a damn car, and it will be here next week. So, which is also to say that when you find yourself in situations, and Lord knows there are people right now who are facing much more dire situations than I am, like literally people who are wondering how they're going to find a place to live, right? Or how they're going to feed their families. And oh, Jesus, there's a whole lot of much, much worse things that people are dealing with. So I'm not going to say or even imply that anything I have to say is going to help them feel better about navigating their situations, because Jesus, that's some serious stuff. That's heavy, right? But what I will say is this. Had I given into the lower expressions of my nature, fear, anger, panic, blah, 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 I would not have had enough presence of mind to keep my wits about me and keep moving forward until I found a solution, right? Which in my case was finding a replacement car that was within budget, right? During this month, as you move forward, understand that this is literally what it is. All these little tests, all these little slippery, tricky tests to try and get you to lose your cool, right? And to get you all emotionally wound up. And I'm not going to lie, this has not been easy, and I'm hardly a saint or Mary Poppins here, because I've had other situations that were also happening simultaneously while I was struggling to find this car that literally had me so wound up. I was about 2 breaths away from having my head explode. Mostly involving neighbors, right? Creepy neighbors, because everybody's dealing with this weirdo stuff. So everybody's a little off their thing. So that was literally just fuel on top of the fire that I was dealing with my vehicle. So it has not been easy, and I have been struggling to maintain my composure and my calm during all of this. But where the car specifically was concerned, once I was on the train station, I was dealing with this, that I was able to not lose my crap, right? Helped a lot in terms of finding the solution I was needing. So this may be the same situations that you find yourself in, where you're dealing with unbelievable stuff that just should not be happening, right? Just like, are you kidding me with this? Along with a lot of stuff that just seems to come out of nowhere, like, really, we're going to add this to the list now. And if these things happen, remember, this is Mars month. So do your best to try and keep it together. Take a deep breath. Woosah your way through this, and just one foot in front of the other as best you can. Keep moving forward and try to make progress. Because the less you give in to panic, anger, frustration, right? All of those heightened emotional outbursts, right? The more you can keep your wits about you and stay relatively calm and controlled, the easier it's going to be to find that little gem hidden in the rubble, okay, that you need to find. But you got to have your wits about you first. So that is my story for today. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to talk to you soon.